This is the video of the final moments in the life of Charles Jason Toll. It documents a cell extraction, a controversial procedure routinely used in prisons and jails.
Do not resist!
They give them medication in there, but there's no therapy. There's no learning how to cope with your problems. That was his first picture from prison.
Jane Luna worried about her son, who was in and out of prison for nonviolent crimes since he was a teenager. He had a history of drug abuse and mental illness, and he attempted suicide several times. Inside the Riverbend Maximum Security Institution, his condition worsened. He spent the last year of his life in solitary confinement after being accused of assaulting a corrections officer.
Give me emergency keys.
I wanted was the baby right. I thought I wanted was the baby right.
Unblock the door.
On the night of August 17, 2010, the night he died, Mr. Toll had allegedly splashed the liquid at a corrections officer. That drove Captain James Horton to assemble a group of officers known as the cell extraction team to forcibly pull Mr. Toll out of his cell in order to search him and the cell.
Go.
He didn't have a chance. He was cuffed and shackled. And, and they kept saying he was combative. And how can you be combative when you're laying on your stomach, your hands handcuffed behind your back, and you're shackled? How combative can you be?
Face down. Take him out director. Just take him out that way.
There are no national standards for cell extractions, which are disproportionately used against mentally ill inmates like Mr. Toll, and the process is widely recognized as dangerous to both guards and prisoners. Most prisons monitor cell extractions by videotaping them. In this case, there were 2 officers filming the scene. The video has been watched over and over again by Mr. Toll's family and his friends.
The way that they did it on video, with their voices, knowing that it could be seen and be heard, it absolutely tore me up to think that they are that above the law.
Mr. Toll's mother brought a civil rights lawsuit against 2 of the officers and the prison warden. Her lawyers, Jeff Roberts and David Wiseman, argued that excessive force was used against Mr. Toll and that it constituted cruel and unusual punishment.
You hear Mr. Toll complaining, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," somewhere between 11 to 14 times during a cell extraction. At one point in the video, Captain Horton says words to the effect of, "You're not going to be able to breathe, Mr. Toll."
You're not going to be able to breathe.
At another point in time, he says, "We're here to help you, buddy." Well, I'm not sure how they were helping him by crushing the life out of him.
In court hearings, the officers defended their actions and decisions.
He was very belligerent. I asked him to back up to the pipe flap to be cuffed. He refused. I told him if he didn't, I was going to have to get a cell extraction team. He said, "Bring it on."
That cell extraction, based on what you observed, went by the book.
Yes, I thought it was according to procedure.
Procedure as?
The way it should be done.
The internal investigator said that it was a perfect cell extraction and that he was going to use it as a training tape. And they killed my child. How was that a perfect cell extraction?
In the end, the jury sided with the officers. All the prison employees and witnesses we approached refused to speak to us, with the exception of one. Were you present at the prison that night?
I was.
Because he did not want to be identified for fear of losing his current job, the Times has altered his voice in this video.
They didn't do anything to preserve the evidence. They cleaned out his entire cell, bagged everything up, and put it all in trash bags and moved it.
After he was dragged from his cell, Mr. Toll was taken outside the cell pod and along this route, through a series of metal gates to the very last cage in a prison yard where the lights were broken.
If he would have been taken to a place that was well lit, then it would have been a whole lot different situation. I mean, it was pitch black out there. Pitch black. It's in the mid-80s. Everybody's hot. And then the CERT team's wearing motorcycle helmets that restrict your vision instead of the proper gear. It was a recipe for disaster.
This is what you wanted, Mr. Tall.
Nobody said anything. And somebody, maybe even me, should have said something.
Stop moving!
Oftentimes people in the throes of positional asphyxiation, they will be struggling in what appears to be resisting, when in fact what they're doing is fighting for breath.
Who would not know somebody is dead when you're rolling them over and you're pulling off their clothes and you pulled off their shirt and their head just bounced off the concrete?
Take the safety pin out of his ear and take the necklace off of him.
The medical examiner's report concluded that Mr. Toll had died of asphyxiation. He had bruising over his windpipe, indicating force was used on his neck. Mr. Toll was 33 years old.
What I saw on that video was them doing it the way they want to do it, not the way they're supposed to do it.
Nurse, stand clear.
Many experts are questioning how cell extractions are done and when they're really necessary.
Mr. Toll.
The attention is at least a small comfort to Mr. Toll's mother.
Mr. Toll. Mr. Toll.
I promised him when I went up to his casket that I would get him justice. But I couldn't get him justice, so I'm doing the next best thing. I'm letting people know what happened to him, and people will know his name. That maybe things will change and nobody else will have to die this way.